Okay, so basically whatever changes you are doing over here in your current location, it will be saved or stored in the server. What is this server and what are these? How are you going to push it into server? All these things can be explained. I'll be explaining it in detail. Next is, what are the different types of version control systems that we have? We have three main types of version control system or VCS. One of them is local version control system, and then we have centralized version control system. Then we have something called as distributed version control system. So what is this local version control system, if you ask me? Local version control system is something which you're working in your own computer. You have your PC, and in your PC you're working. I hope it's not boring, right? You're able to understand it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you have any doubt, right, no problem. You can see these 3 days are for demo itself. If you have any confusion, any doubts, just go ahead, ask me. I'll try to answer it. Okay, no problem. You can ask me anything. Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so if you have any doubt, please do ask. Don't hesitate. Okay. So as I told you, there are three types of version control systems. So why is all these required? Why am I saying you all these things? As me, when I sat for the interview, right, I had written Git and GitHub. I'm good at it. And for me, one of the questions that was asked is, what are the different types of version control systems that you know? So that is why I'm sharing it to you guys also. Just have brief knowledge of what are the different types of version control system. So the first one that we have is local version control system. So what does this mean is, local version control system is you are controlling your project's directory or the folder within your own system. That is nothing but your file, folders, whatever you maintain, right? That is kind of version control itself, but you're doing it within your personal system, personal computer itself. That is without any collaboration. No one else, your friend or anyone, cannot be contributing to the project that you are doing. No one else can access that folder, and no one else can use the folder that you have in a personal system. So that is what is local version control system is. Okay, the next thing that we have is centralized version control system, that is CVCS. So what is a centralized version control system? I've shown you a diagram over here, right? This diagram. So this is kind of centralized version control system itself. So you have your working PCs. You are three people who are sitting somewhere in different locations, but you guys are able to post or update or commit the changes into one of the main central server or central system. So this is what a centralized version control system is. Basically, you have a central or a main repository or a computer to which you guys are committing your changes. So if someone in Bangalore, for example, Satish is sitting in Bangalore, he's committing changes and he's posting it or pushing it into the server. All the changes will be pushed into the server. And later on, if someone who is then there in Bangalore wants to access the file, he can directly access it using the update command. Okay, he can access it using the update command. So when it comes to your centralized version control system, you have two important commands or commands that you will be using. One is update and the commit one. Okay, so update in the sense whatever is there in the server, you will be able to access it, and commit is whatever you are doing changes, you will be able to commit it into the central repository. Okay, that is what is centralized version control system is. So everyone, you can read over here, everyone uploads their work there. So there is one main repository to which everyone is uploading or changing or committing the changes, and others can download it from the same repository. So whoever is sitting, they can download the same changes from the same server repository. Okay, then one of the most important thing that we need to understand is, see, I'll say you the drawbacks as well. When it comes to local version control system, right? What do you think is the drawback? Just based on what you understood so far, just say me what is the drawback of local version control system?
There won't be any sharing of the code in between different systems, and if the system corrupts, then everything is gone. We won't be
Yeah,
having any
true.
backup.
Yeah, right. So you won't be able to collaborate with your friends. Nothing can be possible, right? You won't be able to share the code folders, as well as if the system crashes, entire code, entire whatever hard work you have done, everything is gone. It's like gone to vain, right? There is nothing that you can get back. When it comes to centralized version control system, right? There is a drawback of this one as well. So what is that drawback? Once again, if this main server to which everyone is committing changes, right? If this gets corrupted or if this crashes, all the changes, all the commitments, all the collaboration that you guys have done until then is gone. Right. So that is what the disadvantage of centralized version control system or CVCS. So to solve these problems, we have got another version control system, and that is distributed version control system. So what do this distributed version control system is that, for example, the best example that we have that we'll be studying today is Git and GitHub, right? So Git is once again version control system, which is distributed version control system. So what does this distributed version control system mean is you will be able to have an access to the entire project, as well as everyone else also can create a local copy of that. So everyone is having a full copy of the entire project. If I'm there, if you guys are also there in the same thing where we are working together in a project, I'll also be having the entire project code, as well as you guys also will be having it. How will we be sharing to each other? Through the central repository that we have. There is no one particular central repository. Each and every one of us will be having local repositories. So I'll be explaining you how this works using a diagram, okay? Just give me a minute. I hope there is no doubt so far, right? Mm. So let me explain you guys through a diagram. So when it comes to your distributed version control system, right? So you'll be having something like your repository. This is your central repository, okay? So this should be your central repo. And then you have local repositories as well. I'll explain you in detail what are all these. These are your local repositories. Which are local. And then you have the working copy. These are your working copy. For example, okay, these are your working copy that you have. So if this is me, okay, and this is, for example, we have Abhishek, or this is Abhinandan. Okay, so we are three of us who are working in on a project, and whatever I want to commit changes, right? I am working on a project. I've started the project. I have the folder with me currently, which is my working copy over here. So whatever I have done changes, right? What I'll be doing is I'll be committing it. Okay, commit is something that we use. Okay, I'll commit the changes into local repository. This is also within my system itself. Okay, this is within Abhishek's system. and this one is within Abhinandan system. Okay, each of us have local repository as well. So whatever changes I'm doing, I'll be pushing it into the local repository, a folder which is there in my system. I'll be saving all the changes into a local folder that I have in my system. Okay, and later on, once I commit all the changes into the local system, after that, once if I feel okay, this is right, then what will I do is I'll push it into the central repository that is over here. The remote repository, not the central repository. This is the remote repository. Okay. This would be a remote repository, which is there online. Okay. So basically it's a website. For example, over here, this would be our GitHub. Okay. This is a remote repository where whatever changes I've done over here in my local system, right? I can push it. Pushing in the sense, I'll say you what is push, I'll say you what is commit. Commit is basically, for now, you understand whatever working copy I have, I'll be storing it into local repository. And then this entire local repository, whatever I've done, right, I'll be pushing it into the remote repository that is created in GitHub, that is in the website. Okay, in the same way, if Abhishek wants whatever I have done, whatever I have pushed into the server, if he wants to access it, what can he do? He can just do a simple task, that is pull. Okay, what he will do is from the remote repository, he'll pull the changes into his local repository. From the local repository, once again, he can do, or all the changes that he wants to do, he can commit it. Is that clear? So he can commit all the changes once again. And once he finish doing his part of work, once again, what can he do? He can once again push the changes. Simple push. In the same way, even Abhinandan can also do. So basically here, see, if this crashes, you have, each one of you have your local repo as well. Okay, if mine local repo which I had, if it crashes, if my system crashes entirely, what can I do? I can directly go, I can take another system and access the remote repository. Okay, this is how DV, that is central, our distributed version control system works. This is how our distributed version control system works. I hope this is clear. Okay, so one of the best example that we have for the DVCS is Git and GitHub. Your Git is your version control system that you have. GitHub is a server, or you could say it's a website that is actually storing whatever changes you have done remotely. Is it clear so far?
Yes, 4 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now let's start with DVCS, that is distributed version control system. And in that we have something called as Git and GitHub, right? So what is GitHub? Just say me, what is GitHub and what is Git? What is the difference between Git and GitHub? Just say me what you guys know. What is the difference between Git and GitHub? Anyone? Viresh?
Ma'am, Git is inside our, our our local Windows, ma'am. GitHub is the server, like it is hosted in cloud. Like whatever the code which will be in our
Yeah.
local, we can be like, uploading in the
Yes.
cloud.
Yeah, you're right. So basically, Git is your tool, okay? So basically, Git will be your tool that you will be using to control the version, to take snapshots or screenshots of the history of your code, or to create a history of the code that you have. So basically, it's an open source distributed version control system, as I told you, DVCS. If in interview it's asked, what is Git? You'll have to say it's an open source distributed version control system. you'll have to mention the point that it is distributed version control system. That is where you create a very good impression of yourself, okay? And then why is it used? Why is Git used? It allows developers to track and manage changes to their code base. You have a folder, whatever folder you have, you can track changes. Whatever folder you have, you can take a screenshot or commit those changes using Git into the GitHub. So who developed Git? Just a small information, you need not remember it. Linus Torvalds was one who started or developed GitHub in 2005. Basically, he started it for Linux kernel development, okay? Next, moving on towards next one, what is GitHub now? So GitHub is basically a hosting service for Git repositories. So what is repository? I'll be explaining you in detail. So basically whatever folders you have in your system, right? So you can host it. Host it where? Over the internet. So that is done using GitHub. GitHub is a hosting service where you can host all the repositories that you have in your local system directly on the internet where anyone can access it. If you allow or give permission to others to access, they can easily access it. Okay. So anyone can access as well as download the projects from the computer, that is from the server. So what you can do with GitHub is one is store the repositories, okay, because it's a hosting platform, so you can store everything there. What it helps in, one of the most important thing is collaboration, okay, and version control. Obviously, you can do the controlling of version of your project using Git and GitHub. Okay, so now I think I'll explain you okay. So now I'll explain you when it comes to Git and GitHub, right? We have 4 important working directory, or we have 4 important working space, we can call it as. Okay. So one of that space will be your local working directory. Local working directory. Then the other space that we have is your staging area. So where you'll be staging. Okay. Then you have something called as local repository as well. Local repo. Then you have your remote repo. So this is the GitHub icon, right? I'll just draw it. Okay, this would be your remote repo. So let's start with understanding what is this local directory, what is this staging area, what is this local repo, and what is this remote repo. Why do we need to understand? Let me explain you. Okay, so your local working directory is your personal computer itself. Whatever folder that you have in your system, right? For example, this is one of the local folder that you have. This would be your local computer's local folder. Isn't that? That is your local working directory. So where you have a folder created in your local personal system itself, personal computer itself. And what is the staging area? Once you have done all the changes, as I explained over here, see, once I've done all the changes over here in my local system, what will I do? I'll push all the changes, that is into the server. But before pushing, you can't directly push anything directly into the server. There are 2-3 stages that you need to follow. So what is that change? Let me explain you. So once you have done all the changes, you will add. So what you will do over here is, you will be doing git add. Okay. So git add is basically whatever changes you have done locally, you are making those changes enter the staging area. So you can just think of this as, for example, if you and your friends are together. So see, basically usually this is the example that is given everywhere and it's actually understandable also. So basically there is a photographer So photographer is your Git. Okay, your photographer would be your Git. So what will the photographer do? He'll say all of you and your group to come over the stage, right? And after that only the photographer will click a picture of yours, isn't it? And then save it somewhere. That is how you click a picture and create memories, right? In the same way, whatever changes you have done over here in the local repo, you will be putting that into an area called a staging area. Okay, where indexing is done. Staging area. So you'll be putting all these changes into staging area. How will you put it? Using git add command. Okay, so whatever changes you have done, first you'll be putting it into the staging area. So once you have put all the changes into staging area, the next important thing that we do is, so once everyone is there on the stage, what does a photographer do? He clicks a picture, right? The same thing happens over here also. Once it's in the staging area, once all the changes are there in the staging area, next thing is you commit the changes. Committing is basically clicking a snapshot of the version that you have at that particular moment. For example, I was working on a project and I have completed one of the feature. That feature could be, for example, the front end color part. I've changed the color of entire website. Okay, so that entire website color, whatever I have done changes to it. So what will I do? I'll first stage it, add it. Once I add it, once it's ready, what will I do? I'll commit the changes. Committing changes in the sense you are taking a screenshot of whatever you have done so far. Okay, here commit comes. Okay, I'll be showing you practically how all these things are done. Okay, you'll be committing the changes. That committed changes will be stored in the local repo. So local repo will be with the extension of .git, which is a hidden folder usually. This folder won't be visible. Okay, it's a hidden folder. I'll show you this hidden folder as well. Okay, so local repo, you'll commit it. So once everything you have saved, right? Once committing is done, the next step is, see, you have done all the changes as saved it in your local repository, isn't it? What is most important for collaboration? You need to put it remote. So how can you put it remotely? It is using GitHub. So GitHub is a savior over here. It's a hero. So basically whatever changes you had done over here in your local repo, you'll be basically pushing those changes. So what is the command over here? It would be git push. Okay, so whatever changes, it's a flow. First you add, then you commit, then you push the changes into the remote repository that you have. Okay, this is the flow that we follow when we are doing changes in a local repo and then pushing it into or putting those changes into the remote repo is. Local repo, you have done the changes and saved it, then you push it into the remote repo. Okay, any doubts so far? Guys, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I hope it's clear, right? Whatever I've taught you so far.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, okay, screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, have you guys used Ubuntu?
I have views, ma'am.
Okay. So anyone else?
Somewhat familiar, ma'am. Like not completely used, but used, ma'am.
Okay, you guys have Git and Git installed in your systems?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you have it?
I have, ma'am.
Okay, anyone who doesn't have Git installed?
Oh, ma'am, Git I have not installed. Like GitHub and GitHub Desktop I have installed. Git I haven't installed.
Okay.
I'm not installed.
Okay. Okay, then let me explain you how to install Git as well, okay? Should I explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have your official website, okay? So basically just go to your browser and search for Just if you give git install also, you'll be getting. Okay, so this is how you install. If you're using Windows, then go for Windows. If you're using Linux, go for Linux and just install it. Okay, based on your this one system, basically it'll be 64 this only. I'll be installing just once the .exe this file is installed. You can directly go and install complete the installation. And one more, I have created Git sheet also. I'll be sending it by the end of the day today. Okay. See, once your .exe file is installed, you can directly go and click on next. Leave this as it is. You can go for next. You can go for next. Yeah, you can once again go for next. 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 You can just go for next, everything. And then whatever, if you had previous version, right, it'll get uninstalled and the new version will get installed. This is in your Windows. Okay. So in mine, I have it already installed, so I'll not do it again. Is this clear? How to install? It's very simple. Okay. So if you have Linux, then you can go for the same link that you have. And for Linux, right, you need not even do anything. I'll just show you. It's very simple in Linux. So guys, do one thing. Install VMware Workstation. So this is your virtual machine workstation, okay, controller. So just install one of the workstation in your system so that you can also run Ubuntu in your system itself. Because Ubuntu is something you'll be using when it comes to your industry, right? You won't be using Windows back again. I'll just show you. For now, I'll be teaching you using Ubuntu itself. That is your Linux. If you're doing it using Windows, you just need, once you install Git, right, you'll be getting Git bash. See. So you'll be getting your CMD over here, Git CMD. Here you can do you can run all the commands over here, which is related to Git when it comes to Windows, when you're working in Windows. But let's go for Linux, how it works over there. Let's understand that. Okay, all of you install Workstation in your systems and have Linux installed. Ubuntu installed, I mean. That'll be very helpful. If you guys want to learn Linux as well, I can teach you that also. Linux commands that you have, right? Using that itself, you'll be doing all kinds of work. Not everyone, but most of the developers will have to work using Linux itself. So if you know the command line, commands, right? will be very useful for you because you'll be able to do your task very quickly. Automation can be done if you know your command. If you know to work using terminal. So automation you can do easily, as well as all the tasks can be done quickly just by typing. You need not even need the GUI then. Okay, the screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So now what I'll be doing is I'll go into my terminal and let us start working with Git. Okay. So I hope you have got how to install Git and everything. Now I'll start with Git. So right now I have my terminal opened. So what will I do is I'll just type Git. Okay. If I'm getting all these things, right? All these things, if I'm getting as an output, that means Git is installed and it's working fine. Once you install Git, you will be able to access it using your terminal. Is that fine? Next is, once you have done everything, you're getting Git version also you can check. How will you check version? Git and then just give version. You'll be able to see what version you have. 2.43 is the version that you have right now. So that would be your latest version. Next, let us get into understanding something which is very important. That is config. First is config. So what does config mean? See, whatever changes you do, right? Whenever you do changes in your local system and when you try to push it into GitHub, I'll open GitHub as well. So whenever you do some changes and push it into GitHub, it must be saved using your name itself. So what is this config? Config is basically where you're configuring your Git, saying you'll be giving it your name, username, as you can see over here. You'll be giving it your email. So username must be same as what you're giving in GitHub. I hope you guys, all of you have GitHub account, right? Profile on GitHub. Anyone who doesn't have? All of you have GitHub profile, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do have.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have.
Okay, if anyone doesn't have, please do let me know. I'll show you how to create profile as well. For now, I hope everyone, all of you have it. So this is my GitHub profile. So I'll teach you how to do all these things also. Okay. So now, for example, these are the different repositories that I have in my GitHub profile, that is in my GitHub account. Okay. I can also see everything, whatever I have done, everything in this particular dashboard that I have. And whatever projects I have taken, that also I can see it over here. So basically GitHub is your server where you'll be saving everything. Okay, now let me start by explaining you. So whatever username you have given over here, right? That must be the username which you should be giving over here when you're configuring. So basically you're configuring your Git. Git can be configured at the beginning. At once only you'll be configuring it. When you install Git and when you come to your terminal, how do you configure Git? Saying basically what you're doing over here is you're saying Git. That is the tool that my name is Pratiksha and my email is so and so. And whatever changes I'll be doing in my system, it'll be saved using the name that I'm giving you now. So whatever username you're giving here, whatever user email you're giving here, and if you're doing changes in your local system and saving it into your local repo, it will be saved by this name. That means Pratiksha, Person named Pratiksha has done the change. A person with email pratiksha.j0007@gmail.com has done the changes. This is how it will be saved as. Okay. So basically, you know, right? GitHub is something which tells you, you will also be able to know who is doing changes and what changes they have done. So how is GitHub knowing who is doing what changes? It's only because of the configuration that you're doing over here. So right now mine is configured, but let me explain you how do you configure yours. So to configure, it's very simple. You just need to give git config and then global. I'll explain you why this global is required. User.name. Okay. And then you can give your name. Whatever name you have, username you have, you can give it. Okay, whatever name you want the GitHub to know you as, you can give it. My name is Pratiksha, so I'll be giving it as Pratiksha only. So git config. So what is this git? Basically, it's your tool itself. You're saying git to configure itself. Configuration is basically you're giving your details. Why global? You want whatever changes you do in the system and save it over GitHub or push it over GitHub throughout. That is throughout your system. Wherever you do changes, everything globally it is given name as Pratiksha. So whatever changes you're doing, this system is yours. That means you have the entire access to your system globally. So you can give global. If you don't want to give global only for a particular project, then you can just remove this global and make it local as well. Okay, user.name, and then you can give it as Pratiksha. In the same way, once you finish giving, once you configure your username, then the next thing, what do you do is you give user.mail also. So how do you do it? Get config global and then user.email if you give, and then give the mail. Okay, give the mail that you have. Entire mail you can type and then you can just give it to GitHub. I mean Git. Okay. I hope this is clear, right? Okay, so configuration is basically simple. You just need to give git. I'll give you the notes of this config. But now just understand what these codes do. Global user.name, if you're giving your name, and then within the double bracket quotes, you'll have to give the name. And then you email, it's again simple. User.email again and again, you can just give the mail. You can continue giving the mail. So this is how configuration is done. And if you want to check what is the configuration that you have in your system, okay, you can also check the configuration list. How will you do it? It's simple. Git config minus list. This is how you do it. Okay, so if you do this, you'll be able to know what is it. See, whatever you have done globally, right? It will be showing it over here. User.name is Pratiksha, user.email is Pratiksha Jain. Now onwards, whatever I'll be doing changes, committing changes, it will be saved by this username and mail itself. Okay, so this is why configuration is very important. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now let's start with. Okay, let me start from the scratch itself. So let me do one thing. Let me get into desktop. So in Linux, using command line, how do you get into desktop? CD. CD means change directory. You're changing the directory and entering desktop. Okay. So this is now I'm in desktop. This is my current working directory. So present working directory, if you want to print where you are, if you want to know where you are, you can give pwd present working directory and give enter. This is what it shows. So basically you're in home and in Pratiksha is a username. In this user, you are under this user, you are in the user's desktop. So that is what it's showing. Okay, so now once you are in desktop, let's create a folder. You can do it using GUI as well, creating folder. Okay, new folder, you can do that. Let me show you how do you do it in command line. How do you do it in command line? Mkdir and give a name to the folder. I'll give it as test itself because we are testing right now. Test. Okay, once I do mkdir test, now you can see that there is a folder called test that has been created. Okay, now what do I need to do? So this is my project folder, main project folder, right? So now I want to enter this project folder. So what will I do? I'll do once again cd, that is change directory, and you want to go from desktop, you want to enter your test folder. So what will you do? Test is what you give. Okay, then enter. So now where are you? You are inside desktop, you are in test folder. Okay, so basically you are inside this folder called test. You are over here. Got it? So now once you are inside the test folder, now what can you do? Let's start creating files. You open the project folder. Once you open the project folder, what do you do basically? For example, you're doing creating a website. What is the first file that you create? Usually it is your index.html, right? In the same way, I can also do that. I can also create it using terminal itself directly easily. Either using GUI you can do it, or let's do it using the terminal itself. So how do we create something? That is, you have different commands for this, okay? You can use open, new also. If nothing is there, then it gives us no such file or directory exists. So touch new. Yeah, we'll do it. Sure. Sorry. So yeah. So now what we were talking about is, so you have your test folder ready. See, when I gave touch new as a command, right? When I give touch new as a command, inside the desktop, inside the test folder, you have new file that is created with the name new. Why is the name new? Because I had given the name as new itself over here, isn't it? Now what will I do? What is my next step in this? Is basically to open new. So what is the command? Open new. Simple, right? So this is the Linux command that you have. Now new is opened already. Okay, you have new opened. Now let's do one thing. For example, me, this is just an example that I'm giving. Okay, so consider this as your .html file itself. So what do you do in a HTML file? You have your HTML command coming. So let's give some basic thing now. Hello there. How are you doing? So that's it. Okay, this is what my project is. I just wanted to type hello there, how are you doing? And I'll save it, Control S, and I'll close this. And before C, now if you give git inside this folder, right? Inside the test folder, if you give git, what do you think it will come? Do you think git will be there or able to access this folder? So test is a folder, which is just a folder, normal folder right now. It's not yet a Git repository. How will you make it a Git repository? So as I was explaining you guys over here, right? So once you have a local repo, that is your test. This is your folder still. It's not yet a repository. How can a folder become a Git repository? How? So any folder, if you want to make it Git repository, you'll have to initialize Git over here. Initializing Git is basically you are adding a .git folder or file inside this test folder. Okay, so how will you add this .git? That is using a command called as So how will you do it? How will you convert? See, now test is a folder, right? How will you make it a Git folder, Git repository? Now, when I give Git status in the beginning, I'll say you what is status. Status is basically to see what is the condition of your repository. So when I give status, right? See, we don't have anything right now in the commits. So that is why it's coming like this. So basically, if you want to initialize and make this as a repository, what do? Git init is what you give. Okay. Okay. Stops. Okay, see, you will be getting initialized empty Git repository in home pratiksha desktop test dot git. So basically, this is your dot git. Now in test, you know that we have already new, but it's showing that there is an empty Git repository that has been created, right? Dot git is a folder that has been added. But are we able to find it over here? No. The reason is this .git folder is basically hidden folder. How do you actually see hidden folders in Linux? That is using C. ls basically is used to list all the files that you have in the folder. When I give ls, I'm just getting new. Obviously, yes, we humans, our eyes are only able to see new there. But how will you see this repo that is created? I mean folder. That can be seen using ls minus a. So ls minus a is basically used to show all the hidden files as well. Now you can see that we have new as well as .git. This is a folder, okay? That's the reason why it's blue in color. File is white in color. The folder which is there is blue in color. Basically, folders are bluish in color. Okay, so ls minus a, remember this command, it's used to find all the hidden files as well in your system or in a particular folder. So now you know that you have a .git. So now new is what? What is new now? Is it just a folder or is it a repository? What do you think it is? Answer, anyone.
New will be just a file, right?
See, new is now a Git repository. It's a local. See, when I initialize Git, right? Now that will be a local repo that you have created, okay?
Okay.
So once you have done Git init, you have a Git repository created locally. Okay, so now whatever changes you will be doing in this, it can be staged as well as it can be committed. Okay, so now Git can do all the things over here. So now let's see Git status. When I give Git status, what is the use of Git status? It's used to check what is the status of my Git repository. Now you can see it's saying that there is untracked files. What is the untracked file that we have? It is new. Obviously, yes. What does untracked file mean is, so whenever you create new files, right, inside the repository, that is untracked. When does it become tracked? When you add it into the staging area. So let me go back to this diagram that I had created earlier, which I had shown you earlier. So basically here I had shown you, right? Local working directory is created now. You have your Git local working directory, okay? Once all the changes you have done in your local system, that is only there in the system. It's not yet tracked. All these changes will be untracked. That means nobody is tracking it. But once you give git add, right? Once you do git add, that is when it gets tracked. That means it gets into the staging area. That is what is tracking means. Okay, so that is how you track all the changes by giving git add. How do we do it? Let me show you. See, now we have one untracked file. How will I track it? How will I say git to track it? It's very simple. Git add, and what is the file that you want to track? You want to track new. Just give git add and new. Right now, I've not given any extension .txt or .html. So you can just give it as add new. Okay, git add new. So when you give git add new and give enter, Now, if you see git status, what is the status now? The new file which was there, right, earlier, which was untracked, now it's being tracked. That is why it's greenish in color. Okay, that is why it's greenish in color. That means it is staged right now. Okay, whatever the changes were there over here, which was unstaged, it got staged once I've done git add new. Once staging is done, what is the next step? Can anyone of you say what is the next step that we have? Once staging is done, I'd shown you in the diagram earlier, right?
Next is commit.
Yes, right. So what do you do now? You commit the changes. Committing in the sense, why do you see? Once it's added, that means it's in your staging area. So you'll have to take a screenshot, right? You have your file in the stage. Now let's take a screenshot. That screenshot or snapshot can be done using git commit command. Git commit cannot be done or saving cannot be done without any message. You'll have to add a message. For that, you give -m, which means message. So give any message. For example, I'll be giving a message here saying that this is my first new file. Okay. This is what I'll be giving the message as. And then I'll enter. Now you can see it's showing that one file changed, one insertion made. What is this one insertion? It's nothing but in your new file that you just had one line, isn't it? You just had one line written. One line written, so that is what it's showing as one insertion made as. Okay. Then created mode 1006. So new. So basically you have taken a snapshot of the file or the this one project that you were working on. Okay, so basically where are you right now? Let's go back to the diagram. So where are we right now? So we have done adding. We had put it in the staging area. After putting it into the staging area, once we got a green color, then we did the commit. So where is this one now? It's in the .get. So basically whatever screenshot or history is there, right? That is getting stored in .get local repo. Okay, it's going to get stored in the .get file. Okay, so we have and reached this particular position. Now you can give git status. Now when you want to see the status, let's see what is the status of our repo now. Git status when you give, what is the status? See, on branch master, I'll say you what is branch and explain you in detail. See, on branch master, there is nothing to commit because everything we have committed already. So we have committed everything, all the changes, isn't it? So far, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Any doubt so far? If you have any doubt, please do ask. No problem. You can interrupt in between. I'll continue the classes after that. Okay, so far you have got to know that the first thing that you need to do is install Git. After installing Git, this next important thing is configuring Git. Configuring Git by giving name and use email. Okay, name and email you'll have to give. And then after that, what you do is you'll start initializing Git. Okay, Git init, create a file or anything, any folder. Inside that folder, if you want to create that folder, simple folder into Git repo, that is local repository, then Git init, initialize Git in that. Once you initialize Git over that, the next thing is Git will now be able to access all the changes that you're doing. Okay, to check the status at each and every point, you can give Git status. And what is this git add command? It is basically whatever changes you have done in the file, you can add it using, stage it using git add. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me go back to new. Let me do some more changes. Okay, so what will I do now? I'll do one thing. I'll add hello again. How are you? Okay, and save it. Now again, what do you think will happen here? Let me see what is the status of this repo. So when I give git status once again, see what is it showing? changes not staged for commit. That means there are some changes that has been done to the file which is not yet committed, okay, which is not yet staged as well. See, it's also saying you what to do. It's saying that git add file, add it into the staging area and then commit it. Is what it's saying us, okay, to do is. And see, it's also showing that you have modified a file named new. So what is a command? Now you'll have to answer, okay? What is a command to? What is the next thing that we need to do? So I have changes. So this is a change that I want to commit. So what will I do now?
Commit, ma'am, git commit.
Directly git commit. Can I directly take the photo of group like that only? What is the first thing that I do?
Adding is like
Yeah, so first thing that I do is I'll stage these changes. How will I stage? How will I get this into staging area? That is using git add. And you have variations in add also, okay? You can give git add in dot also. So if you don't want to give, for example, you only have one file. So that is why you can directly give new. For example, if you have 2-3 files where you are doing changes continuously, you can directly give git add in dot. Dot usually means everything. That means whatever is there in the folder, I want to add everything into the staging area. So that is what is git add in dot means. So I'll give dot. Okay, so now let me check the status. What is the status of my? So now you can see whatever it was showing red, now it's green. That means it is staged, okay? Once it's staged, what is the next step? Once the staging is done, the next step that I have is git commit, isn't it? Again, we'll have to give the message. I'll say you why this message is important. Okay. So now I'll give message as I have added another line. Okay. And then enter. Again, let's check the status, whether it's done or not. You can see that there is nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. Okay, so basically everything you have committed is what it means. Okay. Is it clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you want to check the history of whatever comments you have done, what can you do? Git log. It's very simple. Okay, just give git and log to check all the history. See, first commit that I did was this one, isn't it? It is showing, as I told you, see, the use of configuration is this itself. You had configured your GitHub, right? I mean, Git, right? Over here, you had given git config -- global user dot name Pratiksha. See, it's shown here. That means whoever has done the commit, right? This commit was done by the author whose name is Pratiksha and whose email is so and so. Where did it get this mail and username from? It was configured earlier by me itself. Okay. And when did I do it? Tuesday, August 19, and at 22:11 and 7 seconds. Okay. All these things will be shown. And what did I do? What change did I do? Will I get to know in the history? Yes, obviously. So whatever messages you have added over here, right? I was saying you, isn't it? This message is very important. It's very important because when you look at the git log, that is the history, you will be able to see what comment as the developer has added. For example, I was the developer and you are checking the history. You can just see, okay, this commit was made. What did she do? She has made a first new file. Okay, so I'll get to know, okay, this is what I had done. And next one more commit she has done. The author is Pratiksha again. What did I do? At 22:16, I have done another commit that is saying I have added another line. Okay, then I get to know that, okay, I had added another line into the same project. These are just simple example that I'm showing you. Okay, in real life, it will be very useful. If you have changed the color of background, you can add the commit over here, commit message saying that I have changed the background of entire project, isn't it? So that is when you get to know later on, after 2 days, if you see the history, right, you get to know, okay, this is where I had done the changes. This is what I had done. isn't it? Okay, so far I guess it's clear. So this is how you see the histories. Now, next important thing is, you know that these are the different commits you have. Now, how does your new file look like? Let's see. Okay, new file has 2 lines. So you know that this was the second line, second time that I've added. This was the first time that I've added. So this is the second changes that I had done. Okay, now just imagine you were working on a project, you added this one single line, and after that your code stops working. Okay, it'll be a very hectic job to think, what did I add? What did I lose? This is very simple, okay? Here you just have 2 lines, you can just take this off easily, isn't it? You can just take this off. There is no doubt in that. But when it comes to your projects, right, when you're working on huge projects, once you do the second commit, okay, once you finish the second commit, if your code stops working, what do you have now? What is the next thing that you need to do? Just do one thing. After I've committed this, I got to know that my code is not working, but before it was working fine. So let me do one thing. I'll just do one thing. I'll just go back to this version of my code, isn't it? How will I go? Git. Let me close this. Okay, git checkout. Checkout is basically used to go from one version to another. Git checkout and then copy this commit ID. Each time you commit, right? Each and every commits will be having a commit ID, and this is what it is. Control-Shift-C in Ubuntu, and then Control-Shift-V. Okay, paste it and give enter. See, now switching to so and so. That means I have switched to this part of my code. That means the older one. That is the first part. How my code was earlier, I've gone to that. You are in a detached head state. I'll say you what this detached head state means is. Okay, through a diagram. But let's go back to the new folder, new file now. And boom, your second commit that you had done is no longer visible. Why? Because what you have done is, whatever second commit you did, right, after that your code stopped working. So what will you do as a developer? You'll go back to the first that you had, first version history. Are you getting the use of Git now? Git and GitHub. So you could easily go back to the previous version of your code by just giving git checkout and the commit ID, isn't it? See, you're in the previous version. Whatever second time you had done changes, right? It's nowhere visible. That means your code is working fine again now. Clear? Do you have any doubt, anyone? Is it clear how
Ma'am,
it's working?
yes, ma'am, I have doubt. Like when we give the commit ID, so it will be showing only the at that point, like whatever the code has been committed. So until that, it will be showing it, right?
Yeah, see, this was the first commit that I had done, right? This is my
Yeah.
first file, a new file. After that, I did another commit. That means I've saved another change in my local repo. I've said that I have added another line. But what happens is, now it was just a simple example, okay? In real world, just imagine you were writing an entire front-end code, and here you did a commit which was working fine. That is why you have committed it. Later on, you change the entire background, okay? And by mistake, you have committed it again. But later on, you get to know that this part, after committing it for the second time, that means your second part of the code is not working fine. So what do? Instead of searching where the error is, you will just go back to the previous version. So whatever was here, how your code was here in this commit, right? The file, how your file was looking in this part of the commit, you'll be going back to that part itself. Now, what will I do is, if I want to go back to this part, this version, what will I do? Same, git checkout. What is it?
The commit ID we have to enter.
Yeah. I'll just give the control commit ID and then enter. Previous head position was, this is my first new file. Head is now at, okay. Now this changes has been done. I have added another line. This change must be visible now. If you go back over here, now you can see. Got it?
Yes, got it.
Is it clear? So you have gone back to the next commit that you have done. Okay, whatever you had committed, you are in that version of the project. So basically, it's like screenshots. Each and every time you finish a feature of your project, you are taking a screenshot. That is what your commit ID is. And once you don't like the second screenshot, just go back to the first screenshot by just copying the commit ID and checking out. Okay, now, so each time you saw that, here there is a text coming saying that your head is now at so, your head is now detached. So what does this mean? Just a second.
Is it like at which point the cursor is?
Yeah, same. In the same way, head is like a pointer, okay? See, now when I give git branch, right, I'll say you what this git branch command is. So basically, you need not worry now about branching. Tomorrow I'll be explaining you in depth. So when I give git branch, right, it's saying that head is detached and it's at this particular position. Okay, it's at this particular commit ID. That means it's over here in this one. Okay. So why is it showing that head is detached? Basically, your head, I'll say you what is master now. Let's go back. I'll explain you it using a diagram itself. So you have, see, head is basically a pointer, okay? So this is what your master look like. Master is the branch, which is a default branch, which is given at the beginning. So now I had done what? I had created new, right? Inside test. Inside test folder, I had created a file called new. So this new, once I committed, this commit will come and sit over here in this branch. Okay, that means this screenshot will be stored in this branch. Now what happens? So what did I do is once I committed over here, again second time what did I do? Another commit I have added. Inside the test itself, in the new itself, I have added another commit. So this is my new version. This was an older version. Older commit. And this is the second commit, new commit. Or new version of the project, you can call it as, okay? Or version. So this is the new version of the project. See now, from here to here I've come. Next, what did I do? I wanted to go back to this version. Basically, see, whenever you're doing a commit, right, there will be a pointer called head. Head is over here. In the beginning, head was here. So as soon as you did your QC, sooner when you committed the second one, right? Sorry. See, once you committed the second one, now your head is over here. I'll just take this part. So head is here. Okay, head will be here when you did the second commit. So head is, remember one thing, this was your branch. Okay. Head is not actually now. Before, head was like this. I'll show you how exactly head was before doing anything. Head was like this. Okay, head was like this. That means it was one of its head. One of its point. It was pointing to the older version. That means the version, the commit, as well as the branch. Okay, when I did checkout, when I do this checkout, that means when I come to this, when I give this commit ID, then what happens? This gets detached. This part which is there, right? This will not be there anymore. Because what did I do? I just shifted from here to here directly to this commit ID. Now this head will no longer be in contact with this master branch, this line. Okay, so basically what is happening? As soon as I give checkout, it is just shifting like this. just jumping from this commit ID to this commit ID. It no longer has any contact with the branch. But at the beginning, how was it? It was like this. Okay, it was like this. It had a contact with the master as well. But later on, what happened when I shifted this head, it removed its contact with master and then directly came to this commit. Okay, this is how it happens. So that is the reason why when I did checkout over here, you can see when I did checkout, right? Where is it? So when I did checkout, you are in detached head state. That means your head is no longer pointing to the master branch. So if you want to make it point to the master branch, what will you do? You'll have to create this line again, right? You can't draw a line and create it. So how will you do it using command? That is very simple. You just need to go over here and say git checkout and then give the branch name. What is the branch name? Master, and give enter. Now it is saying switch to branch master. Now when you give git branch, you can see that the head, the pointer which is there, it's pointing to master itself. So what did you basically do? Whatever the detached head was with you before, you have made it to point back to the master. Got it? Clear? Is this clear? Did you understand why these messages we were getting detached head state? So whenever you are doing any kind of detachment, right, that is checking out, right, head will get detached. You will have to once again make it point to master branch by giving git checkout master once again. Is it clear? Any doubt? Guys, so far, do you have any doubt?
It's clear for me.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Others? Okay, so if you have any doubt, please do ask now. I hope you understand what this checkout is, what this branch is used for. Git branch is used to check in which branch you are in currently. Right now here, this was the pointer. It is showing that head is detached. Why is it?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am. Like when we do the checkout, like as now we were having single file, so we'll be getting back to the previous code. But if we have multiple files, then do all the commits vanish off, or like, or do we have the chance to use like check out only single file? Like how will that be?
Okay, I'll show you an example with multiple file as well. Okay. So in the same branch, so this is branch. Okay. These are not files. These are branches. This is master branch. Then we can create another branch. Branching completely will go in depth tomorrow itself. Now, for example, let me create another file. Touch new 2. Okay. This is the second touch. I mean, I've created another file. Now, let me open new 2. Okay. And then in new 2, let me give something. Hello. That's it. I just want to give hello and save it. Okay. Now, let's see what is the status. So you can see that new one. Did I do any changes in new file? No, right?
No.
It was only new 2. So that is why it's saying that new 2 is untracked, whereas new is tracked. Now let me go and do changes in new as well. Okay, let me do changes in new as well. New changed and save it. Okay, now save it. Now let me go back and then let me see the status again. Wait. If you give me the image, I can understand what. Okay, let me see the status again. Is it not saved?
Literally, I failed it. They were checking in the image now.
Okay, I've not done any changes. Okay. Hello.
When they're checking
There. I did changes in new as well. Now let me save
I
it
can
and close these 2 files. Let me go back and then see status. Now you can see that I have modified new as well, and there is another untracked file. See, you guys know that new is tracked, isn't it? Because you had already staged it. The only thing that we are getting is that you have modified new, whereas it's not showing it's untracked or something like that. Okay. Whereas here, new 2 is untracked, isn't it? That is why it's saying that new 2 is untracked. Now, what can you do? Instead of going separately and doing git add, new 2, and all those, let's do one thing, git add dot let's give. There is a space required, git add and dot. So when I give this, right? Now if I give git status, you can see that modified new is also staged and new file, which was that new 2 is also staged. Now what is the next step, guys? After staging, what do we do?
We'll commit after stage.
Yeah, commit and minus a message is required. Why is message required? Later on, when you do the git log, you'll be getting to know what you have done changes earlier. So what did I do? Added new file named new 2 is what I've done here. And then I'll give enter. Okay, now let's see git log. When you go for git log, you can see that you have another file. See, added new file named get new 2. You have done it. Okay. So now, now what did you have doubt? Can you explain?
Yes. Like if we choose any commit ID
Okay.
and like if there are multiple commits afterwards
Hmm.
to that commit ID, and if we choose that particular commit ID
Hmm.
and check it out, so the afterward commits, will they vanish off or will they be existing like from the
They
different
will
file?
vanish. They
Okay.
will vanish. See, now what happened? Here I have added this new file, right? In this commit it is there, whereas it was not there in these commits, right? So let's do one
Yes.
thing. Let's go back to this commit and see what happens, okay? I'll just show you. Control-Shift-C. So let me do git checkout, and then let me paste that commit ID and give enter. See, once again, it's showing that switching to this ID, you're detached now. So you got to know, right, why it's giving us detached head.
Yes.
Now,
It went back to the
yeah.
previous.
Yeah. So now you can see that in that test folder, you don't have new 2 here. Is it clear?
Yes. If
So why don't you
if
have? Yeah.
no, I was asking, like if we again check out using the latest commit ID, then again all the commits in the history will be getting back, right?
See, let me say you, commits will always be there. Git log, if I
Okay,
give
okay.
it again, commits will always be there. Whatever commits you have done so far, it will be there.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to go back to the previous one, you'll have to take the commit ID that you have and you can go back. So,
Okay.
so far, whatever commits you have done till this particular part of the file, right? In this, until
Yes.
this checkout, whatever commits you have done, everything will be visible. If you want to go back, you'll have to go back to this and you'll have to copy this commit ID and then go back to that version.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
One small note, if you don't mind. Suppose like now we have written the message like after every commit. So if we forgot to write the message and if we want to know what the changes we have done, like is that like will that be possible?
See, usually Git doesn't allow you to commit anything without message. Oh, I think there is no changes, right? Let's do one thing. Let's do some changes. It will warn you.
Okay.
Okay, that is when you'll have to write it. I'll do some changes for now and save it. Then git add I'll do. Okay, then I'll do git commit. So if I just give commit, see, it is asking me to enter the commit message. Only then it will allow me to do it.
Okay,
Got
so
it?
message is mandatory. Okay.
It doesn't, yeah, so Git doesn't allow you to directly commit anything because that commit message is required. Later on, when you refer, it will be very useful for you itself. That is why.
Okay, like is there any way, like if I gave any message which is irrelevant and I want to see the code level changes, so is there any way to see the code level changes or like it is impossible?
What code level changes means?
Like you have made changes in the file, right? Like in the file you have added some lines.
Mm.
So based on that, you have given a message, like I have added some lines in the file like that. So if you have given any wrong message and you want to see what changes you have made actually in the file, so is it possible?
Yeah, the message doesn't have any link to whatever changes you have done. Message is just for the reader to understand what changes you have done. Okay.
No, like in the file, is there any way through which we can see whatever the changes we have done in the like direct code or file? Is there any command to see the changes directly?
To see the changes directly. Okay, directly in command line you're asking.
Yes, ma'am. Like you have added few lines in this file, and is it possible to see whatever the lines you have added in that file? Is there any command like to weave those lines like that?
Directly through the command line itself you want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
Just using, wait, why isn't it getting? Okay, I'll show you directly over here itself. I'll close this terminal. Okay. So now you have your folder, right? New. So what you can give is, you can just give head and then new. You'll be getting to know what is there in your folder. Got it? And
Okay.
if you give tail and then new and then minus n, if you give number of lines that you want to see, you can also see. Tail means you want to start reading from the end. New is the name of the file. Minus n1 means you want to see the last one line. That is what you're seeing over here. If you want to see the first one line, what will you do? Head, new, minus n, and only one line I want to watch. So this is how you do. Linux, if you guys want, I can teach you. So these are Linux commands. This is nowhere related to Git and GitHub, okay? So
Yeah, got it.
yeah, so I can teach you Linux if you want. Let's see what happens. So this is how you do using command. So directly you need not go on entering. You need not even go to this. You can directly read whatever is there using this. You also have cat command. Cat, and then if you give new, you can see everything. Okay. So this is how it's done.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Anyone else having any doubt?
Not fine.
Any doubt, guys? I hope it's clear so far, right? I hope you guys were able to understand all of these.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditi, doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so far
Ma'am,
I guess you have understood. Yeah,
ma'am, share this recording.
yeah, it's there.
Okay, share this.
Yeah, I'll say, I'll say them to share it to you. Okay, so far if you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, okay? If any doubt, let me know now. I'll clear it out. I guess so far you have got to know what is the use of Git. a simple example using that itself, we understood how Git can be useful in controlling your version, that is history of the project. Along with that, we also know that there are 3 different types of VCS. What are those? Version control systems, different types of version control system. What are those? Any one of you? At least one of them. One among 3. Any one you can say me. What are the 3
Local,
different types?
central.
Yeah, right.
Distributed.
Centralized version control system. Then we have
Localized,
distributed.
distributed.
Yeah, one more is
Distributed.
local. Yeah, one more is local version control system. Okay, I hope you guys have got know the difference as well. Okay, then what else did we study? I'll send you. So using the Git, this itself, right? GitHub, they have their own this one. You can also learn Git commands by getting into their website as well. They have given complete in-depth all the commands and all this. I'll be sharing it to you guys in this itself. So basically, I have also referred few of the website. It could be Geeks for Geeks and Git website itself, their own website from there, and YouTube videos also. If you have any doubt, let me know. Okay. So I guess so
Okay,
far
ma'am.
it's clear, right? Okay, we'll end the session
Yes.
now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.